you. My name is John Stockton. I'm Senior Director of Commerce Product at Adobe, and I'm here to give you a quick introduction to Magento Commerce, the newest addition to the Adobe Commerce platform. I'm going to be joined on stage by Jennifer Small, a Senior Solutions Consultant at Magento, and star of the main stage. And she's going to do a live demo of the product, and then we'll both be available at the end for questions and answers, and we've got a lot of Magento people to answer any questions you might have. So please bear with me. My goal today is make sure you understand where Magento came from, what are our founding principles, and what's still true today about our mission in the world. Then we want to pivot to our customers and the amazing things that they're doing with Magento to innovate in commerce worldwide. And then Jennifer will do a live demo of the products, and then we'll close the session with kind of future directions, where we are now as a part of Adobe and what our roadmap is going forward. So I'll start with foundations. There's really three important principles to understand about Magento. First is we have always been on a mission to be an open platform. Since our inception in 2007, we've had a very active developer community of over 300,000 developers who helped build the foundations of the product and still contribute today. We have a very rich partner network of system integrators and technology partners and extension builders and other people, all of whom really make Magento what it is. And that openness and the commitment to openness remains solid today. The second principle is that we've always been agile, in part because of the power of our ecosystem and our openness. We've been able to solve amazing problems that we didn't even anticipate when we got into this business. And I'm constantly surprised and delighted to find the innovative ways new customers are using our product in different ways to solve new problems. And the last is around innovation. So we've had a very active R&D effort. We have a lot of new technology investment. We've got a lot of new things in the product coming out that are going to help our merchants stay ahead of our competition, and also to help them stay ahead of consumer expectations that, as you know, are growing very rapidly. So Jason talked about these stats on the main stage, but we'll hit them again quickly. There's over $155 billion in gross merchandise value that is transacted through the Magento platform right now. We're the tops on almost any list: IR 500, IR 1000, EMEA 500, LATAM 500, B2B 300. Magento is a leading provider to all those vendors. And on most of those lists, we have a 2-to-1 lead over our nearest competition. We're, of course, recognized by Gartner as a leader on the MQ, and all the other major analysts track and have good things to say about us. And most importantly, we are the largest e-commerce ecosystem on the planet. We have more partners, we have more technology providers, we have more integrations. So there's really not much you can't do with Magento and our partner solutions. All of this investment has created an amazing variety in the types of use cases that people use Magento for. So not just core B2C, but we have many examples of customers that use Magento as a unifying platform for all their commerce across B2B, B2C, and even marketplace solutions. We have companies that are reinventing their business models by spinning up stores for their artists, for example, in a fraction of the time it would take on any other system. We have people doing amazing things with Internet of Things devices. They have smart devices that can reorder supplies and maintenance. We have major brands that don't have a direct-to-consumer business today leveraging Magento to reach out and engage consumers in new ways through commerce that they've never been able to do before. And we have global brands that are using Magento as a single platform to power all of their worldwide sites, while still giving each of their regions great flexibility in how they go to market. So we serve merchants of all sizes, but it's important to note we have a very strong base of billion-dollar businesses that are trusting their digital commerce business on Magento. So let's peel back the onion a little bit and talk about the products themselves. The foundation of our solution is Magento Commerce, which is the core commerce platform that powers all the things that I just mentioned. But complementary to that, we have an order management solution called Magento Order Management that innovative omni-channel retailers use to create a great digital experience for consumers, whether they're at home, on their mobile device, or in store. It supports applications and use cases like buy online and pick up in store, ship from store, ship to store. So innovative merchants that are trying to create that great customer experience across both their digital and their storefront channels use Magento Order Management to do that. And both of those products are supported by Magento Business Intelligence. MBI is a powerful full-stack BI and visualization tool that gives you unparalleled insights into your commerce data from Magento Commerce and Order Management, But more than that, it actually allows you to ingest third-party data sources, including Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, and over 30 other standard types, as well as custom types. So you have one solution for reporting, dashboarding, and visualizing your commerce data, essentially commerce data. All right, so let's talk quickly about how these solutions are used by customers today to innovate in commerce. And I'm going to go through 7 themes that we see across our market very broadly. The first is obviously that consumers are going mobile. So a study by Adobe Insights this past holiday season cited that 51% of US website commerce visitors came from mobile devices, and 31% of purchase transactions came from mobile devices. And most importantly, both of those metrics are going up and to the right at a very fast rate, double-digit rates growth year over year. And we know that US is only one market in the world, and many of the markets in the world are actually ahead of the US in terms of mobile adoption and mobile commerce. And so obviously for our merchants and any merchant in the world, mobile is a critical part of their e-commerce strategy. But mobile has not been easy for people to do, especially with commerce applications. So the app route is fraught with perils of getting consumers to adopt and download and deploy an app, and it's expensive to development and requires extra effort per platform. Whereas the browser technologies have not to date lived up to a truly high performance consumer expectation. So Magento has been partnering with Google, which is introducing a new standard called Progressive Web Apps, which is going to revolutionize the way people experience mobile sites and mobile commerce. Progressive Web Apps are browser-based, so they don't require a dedicated app install. You just open them on your browser. However, they provide all the best attributes of native apps. They download and cache data so they can work in offline mode. They're lightning fast. They integrate with phone features like notifications and in the near future, mobile payments on a phone. And they operate offline. And so it's a superior way to engage customers with mobile devices. And Magento is at the forefront in leading the PWA revolution into commerce with our new PWA Developer Studio, which we introduced last fall. Our Dev Studio for PWA makes it easy for our merchants and our merchant partners to build amazing mobile applications on top of Magento and get them in consumers' hands very quickly. The second major theme is that commerce is expansive. The brands that come to Magento tend to have complex needs across multiple brands within their companies, multiple sites worldwide, multiple businesses and types of businesses, multiple geographies, regions, payment types, languages, currencies, and multiple audiences, marketplace audiences, B2B audiences, and B2C audiences. The Magento platform is unique in the market in its ability to handle this level of complexity within a single platform. So Magento clients deploy Magento in multi-site configurations to handle worldwide geographies, multiple languages, multiple locales, multiple sites. They use it for both B2B, B2C, and even marketplace applications. So we are one of the only vendors in the market that can provide a single-stop shop for all of your digital commerce experience needs without having to deploy multiple platforms or solutions. So looking at some great examples of that, Warner Music is a Magento client that has over 200 artist stores on Magento today, and every time they sign a new artist, they can spin up a new artist store within about 3 days. And you'll note, these are not cookie cutter sites with the same template applied. Each store can be uniquely branded and designed for that artist in a very quick amount of time, all on one instance of Magento. HP is another example. HP uses Magento in over 7 countries worldwide, seven regions worldwide. And they have a single platform, and they have all the benefits of having all of their product catalog, inventory, stock, everything else on a single platform. However, all the advantages of letting each region do its own version of a commerce site. So you see each of their worldwide sites is uniquely branded, uniquely designed, and they can do their own marketing directly from their site. Steelcase is another great example of a Magento client that uses us both for their B2C business and their B2B business. So for their B2C business, they have a great consumer-friendly website that they sell their products directly to consumers with. But for their B2B businesses, they actually stand up B2B sites for each of their enterprise customers, each of which have their own product catalog, their own pricing, their own quote and order systems, so they can sell both channels off of one platform. Speaking of that, the need for unified commerce when people run both B2C and B2B off of a single platform is a huge and growing trend. We see that in almost half of our new business right now. People are coming to us for looking for solutions that do both B2B and B2C. Gartner predicts that online B2B sales will be at 1.8 trillion by 2023 and will be twice the size of B2C. And so it's important for Magento merchants and our partners to be on the forefront of serving those B2B needs. The Magento B2B capabilities are rich and robust. We have things like self-service company accounts, the ability to do custom catalogs and quoting, quick ordering options, and support a robust quoting process all from within the product. The fourth big trend is that commerce is increasingly omni-channel. People go to your site, your brand site directly, but they also may go to Amazon. A recent study said over half of product searches today in the US now start on Amazon, even if people come to the site. So we know that 50% of online sellers are going to list products on third-party marketplaces in the near future, and 73% of consumers will look in multiple sites before they make a product selection. So it's important for merchants to be able to get in front of consumers wherever they are. And as of the first quarter this year, we've introduced a new capability called Amazon Sales Channels for Magento. Amazon Sales Channels enables Magento merchants to list their product catalogs that are stored in Magento on Amazon, to direct sales from Amazon and capture them and incorporate them into their Magento Commerce instance, and basically manage both their direct consumer sites and their Amazon marketplace sites all from a single instance of Magento. Fifth big trend is commerce is bridging both physical and digital worlds. So consumers increasingly expect they can go to their device and buy a product, or they can walk into your store and buy a product, and they're going to have the same great experience, and you're going to recognize them and be able to serve them in the same way, whether they're in store or online. 63% of millennials are likely to use what's called buy online, pick up in store, where you shop online, you make your selection, but you go in to pick up the product in the store. And buy online, pick up in store orders more than doubled year over year last year, and increasingly for larger retailers, they are up substantially. So the Magento Order Management solution provides a powerful complement to Magento Commerce that makes it easy for merchants to set up a true omni-channel experience where consumers can buy online, have things shipped from the store to them, go pick things up in a store, go return things from the store, reserve stock from store. A great example of that is Frankfurt Airport. Frankfurt Airport uses Magento Order Management and Magento Commerce to provide a great experience to travelers who are going through the airport. So in Frankfurt Airport, you can actually shop online from any of the participating stores that are in the airport and have your order delivered to your gate before you depart the airport, all using Magento. Gabor Shoes is another great example of a retailer using Magento Order Management to provide a great experience. Gabor is a 100-year-old shoe brand and manufacturer in Germany that has over 400 franchise retail stores. And when they considered their digital commerce strategy, it was vital for them that they not compete with or undermine their stores. They wanted to maintain a healthy relationship with their retail network. So they deliberately chose a strategy where the online site drives traffic back into the stores. So over 50% of their online orders go back into a store to go pick up using Magento Order Management. And those stores that participated in the program saw a 30% increase in their revenues as a result of the online traffic being driven to them. So Magento Order Management provides powerful capabilities to allow merchants to manage their inventory from multiple sources, from warehouses, from distribution centers, and directly from their stores. They can use their stores as fulfillment centers. It provides very sophisticated tools and logics around routing orders for the most efficient result and the most effective result of getting product in consumers' hands as quickly as possible. And it provides a robust set of customer service tools so that customer experience across all channels is superior. The sixth big trend is that commerce is continually evolving and embracing new business models. And somebody retrieved a screen capture of the Adobe homepage from about a decade ago. And I think it's just interesting to look at how much has changed in just 10 short years. Commerce used to be going to a heavy website with heavy text links and whatever else, manually sorting through a catalog, trying to find the product that you were looking for, and a very rudimentary buy process. And now increasingly, sophisticated merchants are providing really high-grade consumer experiences that are compelling part of their brand and marketing story, and leading customers through considered purchase decisions to make great product selections. And the point here is that no matter where we are today, you can be sure that commerce is going to continue to evolve at a very rapid pace. And so agility is core to our DNA, and the fact that we have such an open ecosystem means that we can say yes to many things that other vendors cannot. The Magento Marketplace has over 4,500 extensions to Magento in all major categories to help businesses solve needs that are not in the core product. We have a contribution program where we actively partner with our SI and technology partners to contribute to both Marketplace and to our open source code base. And we have over 82 system integrators that actively contribute and over 6,000 developers in that program that contribute alone in addition to the general community. So when you think about deploying an e-commerce platform, obviously you have to integrate it in with a number of systems of record in place, and the ability to do so easily is core to a successful and quick deployment. And the Marketplace provides extensions for every major integration category that you'd want: ERP, product information management, CRM integrations, other order management solution integrations, master data management, warehouse management systems. So it's easy to deploy Magento and integrate it into a customer's environment, regardless of the technology choices that they've made. The Marketplace also provides great extensions for things like subscriptions. So increasingly, retail merchants are trying to set up subscription business models. And McKinsey predicts that 15%, or estimates that 15% of online shoppers have signed up for subscriptions today. So Magento Merchant Birchbox, for example, uses Magento subscriptions to enable that, as does Intelligentsia Coffee, which has subscription models for both its consumer and its B2B business. Sorry about that. Marketplaces are also an important trend in the place. Magento client Honeywell has a marketplace for airline parts that they sponsor to provide better service to their consumers. And Albertson uses Magento for a marketplace to sell not only their direct products that they carry in their own catalog, but they have premium brands that they allow to sell directly through their marketplace to their consumers. Gartner predicts that 15% of digital commerce organizations will support marketplaces by 2023, and Magento is a great solution to enable people to do that. Speaking of major brands, Coca-Cola is a joint AEM and Magento client that decided they wanted to reach out and engage consumers directly where they hadn't previously been able to do so. And so they created a great social media campaign where they drove people to create personalized Cokes, basically. And the way they fulfilled that is by driving those consumers to a Magento checkout and capturing a purchase of a personalized Coke. So it was a great way for a brand that didn't previously have an outreach program to consumers to be able to directly engage with consumers, with commerce being an enabling technology instead of the end final goal. We also have great applications of people using Magento for Internet of Things applications. So Festo is a manufacturer of factory automation equipment, and they created smart devices in their equipment that were able to manage and understand their own service levels and maintenance needs and report back when they needed maintenance or service. And all those transactions are processed through Magento. And Nestle's BabyNest is a formula dispensing device that mixes formula and dispenses baby formula. And it monitors its supply levels and notifies parents that they're about to run out of supplies and makes it easier for them to reorder supplies online, thanks to Magento. We also support a number of really high consideration and custom purchase solutions. So Riesen Müller is a German e-bike manufacturer that has a variety of custom bikes that can be built to order with over 2 million product combinations, all of which can be configured through Magento and purchased through Magento. So the seventh and final trend is that commerce is increasingly data-driven. Our business intelligence tool, MBI, provides over 100 pre-built reports on e-commerce transaction data and powerful report building tools to enable our customers to create any report they want. As I mentioned before, it also includes the ability to ingest third-party data like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, and over 30 other data sources, including CRMs, as well as the ability to build custom data connectors. So it's a great way for merchants to build commerce dashboards that capture the key things that are important to their business and distribute them among their teams. So with that, I'll pause here and invite Jennifer Smalls up to stage for a live demo, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about the roadmap.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as John mentioned, I'm a solutions consultant with Magento, and essentially what that means is I spend my entire life talking about the native functionality of Magento. So if there's really one thing that you get from listening to me talk today, I really want you to understand that Magento functions really well in two very different arenas. The first is as an island. If you just want to spin up a commerce site and everything's managed within Magento itself, the products, the imagery, the content, you have the ability to do that. On the flip side of that coin, Magento also has the ability to act as a cog in a much larger organization. As John mentioned, if you need to pull in data from any other sources within your existing system already, you have that ability. We also have the ability to work well with multiple different types of customers. So if you're sitting there and you're saying, hey, I have just a really high traffic B2C site right now, great, we have a solution that's going to fit you. If you're sitting there and you say, hey, we have multiple brands, we work B2B, we work B2C, I work with digital and physical products and service-based products, and by the way, we do it in 6 languages. We can do that too. So it really can be automatically sized to whatever situation you need. And the way I'm going to show this to you today is I'm going to start with a front-end experience from a kind of basic feature functionalities that your customer can expect for both B2C, B2B, and mobile. And then we're going to kind of lift up the hood and see how I was able to create it all. So what you're looking at right now is a demo environment that Magento has built for a fake yoga wear company. Sorry, you can't buy anything from here. But I've been able to go through, and I'm already logged in as a user named Sharon Reynolds. You can see I have a little bit of personalization over here already. But as was mentioned, you can go far beyond just a single user experience. So I actually have the ability to toggle over into a sister brand as well. So I can go in and look at a completely different setup of content, a completely different product catalog, and you don't have to link your sites in the same drop-down fashion that I have. That just makes it easy for me to navigate around. I also have the ability to go and have it in multiple languages as well. We have it set in German in my demo environment at the moment. Now, as I'm going through, you'll see I actually changed users real quick, but I'm going to log back in as that Miss Sharon Reynolds because I want to show you some of the awesome B2C experiences that your customers can expect. Everyone is familiar with the traditional kind of browse and buy shopping patterns. Shopping's pretty emotional for most people. You know, you're trying to make them love it, so they go and they buy it. But ultimately, it's also about being able to be practical about things. So having a search functionality that's built into the site, having easy drag and drop navigation, having the ability to filter based off of any of your specific attributes is going to be native to the product. As I scroll down, you'll see here on the left-hand side, I also have a couple experiences that are personalized to this individual user. I can go through and I can compare products in a side-by-side manner, which actually for a lot of customers helps limit the number of returns. Because when I'm doing that thing where I have multiple tabs open at the top and I forget where my cart is, it's a shopping process we're all pretty familiar with. It can kind of get a little bit like, I don't know if I'm buying the right thing. Whereas if I'm actually going and I'm comparing products in a truly side-by-side manner, I have a lot more confidence when I'm making this purchase. I can also make purchases and kind of direct things to my cart directly from this page, or click onto the product detail page that you see here. I have the ability to add things to my cart. This is actually a product that I can go and check in-store availability for, so that's that omni-channel customer experience that John mentioned, and even go through an instant purchase. So as long as I'm logged in as a saved user with billing, shipping, and payment information, it's almost as easy as buying things just with one click. And that was built by the Magento community. So they've really helped push the kind of vision of Magento forward. Now, going through a B2C shopping process is probably something we're all incredibly familiar with, but let's actually go a little bit deeper into that B2B process that we saw just a moment ago. So if I sign in as a completely different user, I'm going to have, first off, as you can see, I'll go back to the home page, a completely different user experience. So you have the ability within the same site to have a completely different product experience. And I don't know if you've caught this, kudos to whoever did, but I actually have a completely different navigation experience as well. And that's because this B2B company has negotiated their pricing so that I only have access to a redacted section of the catalog, but my pricing is different. So because I'm buying B2B, because I'm buying wholesale, I can belong to a tier of B2B customers in terms of my pricing, or I can even have my own specific pricing catalog. So this is me-specific pricing. And that can be managed in the back end of Magento, or it can be managed wherever you manage your pricing catalog, be it an ERP or something like that. You do have the ability to have a couple very B2B specific features of frictionless shopping. So if I go in, and this is something we didn't view on the front end of B2C, but if I go in from a my account segment of B2B standpoint, I have not only everything that I'm expecting from a B2C experience, being able to reorder, view my orders that I've put through, find my tracking information once things have been shipped to me. That's all standard for B2B and B2C. But there are some very B2B specific items that you get access to. The first is actually access to quotes. So you can do a cart to quote process native within Magento. And ultimately, the really important feature of this is that you're creating an open port of communication between your customers on the front end and who's ever managing that communication on the back end. We also have the ability to work not only with the traditional B2C wish list, but requisition lists as well. So companies who are buying for multiple locations, for multiple office spaces, things like that, can really organize what they need to purchase. And the crux of this is really Magento's ability to see a customer as a company and not just an individual user. So if I actually want to go through and look at my company structure, you'll see that I have the ability to go and manage people within my organization. And this is from a customer standpoint. So I'm logged in as a gentleman named Charlie Smith right now, and I'm the admin. I can do everything, I can see everything. But there are people under me who work at both the East Bay store and the King Street location that allows me to go through and create roles and permissions for them specifically. So maybe Andrea has the ability to shop and put things on a requisition list. I want her to be able to tell me what her location needs, but I don't want her to be able to spend money. I can go through and it's as easy as check the box for yes, don't check the box for no. I can go through and I can create that workflow and permissioning for this type of business structure. We also natively integrate into the ability to have payments on company credit. So traditional payment methods for both B2B and B2C include, payment on a credit card, PayPal, and the like. But I also have the ability to extend payment on a purchase order or payment on an invoice to my B2B customers. This can be for specific B2B customers, or it can be for all of them. You have the choice of making all these experiences as global or as narrow as you need them to be. We also have the native ability to use a quick order form, and this is probably one of my favorite things because for your customers who shop with you frequently from a B2B standpoint, they know what they want, they get on the site, they don't want to go through the browsing process, they really just want to get on, make their purchase, and get on with their day. Make it easy for them. They'll come back, they'll appreciate you for it. You can go through and you can enter in either a single SKU or a list of SKUs and even upload a CSV file, and it'll populate all of the SKUs and the quantities directly for them. They can add that to a cart directly from here, go through a checkout process, and get on with their day. Frictionless purchasing is really the name of the game when it comes to a B2B experience. Now, in my opinion, it should go without saying, but the native template within Magento is responsive. So any of these can be accessed from a mobile device. Now, if you say, hey, we have an app that we really want to use, that's great. We also have the ability to integrate with what you guys are doing from an app standpoint today. But something that is going to be important moving forward is also the ability to take advantage of this really cool new thing that John mentioned called progressive web apps. So you'll notice I access this like it's an app on my desktop or on the screen of my phone. It's actually not. It's a page that I was able to just save to the home screen. And I'm able to go through and navigate around this site as if it were, active on a, as if it were active on the website itself. And I'll just go ahead and restart that right quick. This is the joy of live demos, guys. So as I go through this process, you'll notice that I'm able to go and click on all these. And some of these pages don't actually have refreshing, that little circle that we saw earlier. And that's because I absolutely have the ability to have this information cached. And when John mentioned that you can access this information offline, that's exactly what he meant. Not necessarily, hey, I've never been to your site, let me browse it without any internet connection type of offline, but if you're a commuter on a train, or you're on a job site with really bad reception, as long as you've gone through these before, you have the ability to go and view these different items. I can even show you, I'll go ahead and turn off, I'll go into airplane mode real quick. I can turn off my browsing, and you'll see it actually tells me, hey, I'm browsing offline, and I can still go to the same products that I've viewed before. So for people who are in spotty reception areas, they have the ability to continue their shopping process. once I go through the process of getting back into a service area, that little feature will now go away once I go to a new page, and it will allow me to continue my shopping process. It'll even tell me now I'm online. So when it comes to a front-end customer experience, we want you to be able to serve your customers wherever they are, whether that's on a desktop, whether that's on a mobile phone, whether you want to invest in an app or you want to invest in kind of the new age mobile that we have here. We have a solution for you regardless. Now, when it comes to what goes into a website, there's really only one place to start, and that's going to be data. So the decisions that drive what promotions I'm running, the decisions that drive what content I'm featuring, what products I'm going to promote more so than others, that's all going to be data-driven. And Magento gives you access to what we call MBI. It's Magento Business Intelligence. And essentially what that is it's a collection of dashboards that you can create yourself. These are just the dashboards I have in my demo environment right now. But it gives me the ability to really see what's going on for my website. I'm looking at the executive dashboard right now. That's like the heartbeat of the website. But I can get a lot more granular. I can look at the product analysis. I can look at a channel analysis, the ability to see what my individual customer segments are doing. And I can do this in a couple different ways. The first is with one of 100 preconceived reports that you have access to. When I say preconceived, I mean they've picked the metrics, they've added the formulas. It's as easy as saying, all right, I want to go and see what percentage of my orders exceed a threshold. I click on it, it adds it to my dashboard. It is literally that easy. We also have the ability to take any of these reports and change the viewport. So we saw how I have kind of multiple websites that I'm managing from the front end of Magento. I can look at all of my data from a global standpoint or from an aggregated standpoint. I can even get really granular with it. So I can change for any of my reports the amount of time that they're viewing. I always say if you want to know how many of a specific product was sold last Tuesday between 2 and 4, you can get that granular. I also have the ability to go and build any dashboards that would be necessary with a report builder. So I can actually use a visual or SQL report builder. And the hardest part of this is picking the metrics that you want to utilize. Something that John mentioned was also the ability to manage data from multiple sources. So natively, I'm pulling in information from my Magento website, from my Google Analytics, and from any third-party data source that I want it to sync up to. So my favorite use case, I actually had a customer during a demo ask me, can you integrate to NOAA, like the weather service? I'm like, well, that's a new one. Let me check, because I'm actually not sure. They were a sunglass company, long story short, and they wanted to know if we see spikes in sunny activity, and we up our ad spend, are we going to see an increase? Long story short, yes, we can integrate with NOAA, and they're able to go through and really kind of up their ad spend in sunny areas of the country and see how that impacts sales. So whether it's an existing system within your organization or it's a system that's willing to share data with us, we can absorb it. And if you already have Adobe Target, this works great in concert with that, whether you want to keep it as its own little kind of silo of commerce-specific data, whether you want to integrate it into Target, that's great. If you don't have Adobe Target today, this is a phenomenal stepping stone. It gives you a lot of insight into what's going on your website at any given moment. Now let's get to everyone's favorite part, how this is actually built. So this is the back end. This is the Magento admin panel. And as I mentioned, everything that I can do within the back end of Magento can also be done in an external system if necessary. Before I go through anything, I always like to show that, first off, I'm logged in as an admin. I can do everything, I can see everything. Not everyone who has access to your Magento system needs to be an admin. I can go through and I can create very complex roles and permissions to make sure that people who are accessing the backend only have information and data that you give them access to. And I am managing multiple stores and multiple websites from this one demo environment right now. So I have that Luma website we saw in both English and German, and I have that Venio web store that we saw as well. So if you need to be managing, similar sites in different languages, that's possible. If you need to be managing completely different brands that have, to the external consumer, nothing connected, you can do that as well. And all of the information that goes in and out of Magento, as mentioned, can be sent somewhere else. So sales data, obviously you probably want that in an ERP. You want purchasing data to be sent to whatever fulfillment model you guys are utilizing today. And you have that ability. From a catalog standpoint, I do have the ability to manage products within Magento specifically. We manage everything from physical goods, digital, virtual, service level. There's a number of different types of products that you have the ability to go and manage natively. And you can even very easily, this is what happens when I talk too long, you can very easily manage, excuse me, you can very easily manage all of the features from within the Magento system itself. There we go. Now I'm back in. So when I talk about easy, my 3 favorite words in the English language are drag and drop, because everybody can do that. So when we talk about being able to merchandise your products, we can drag and drop them. So points for anyone who noticed this, but this is actually the same, you see here on the left-hand side, that's the same order as my navigation on the front end. So I'm able to go and add new categories or move the order around very easily. I also have these little grayed out categories that you see. That's for internal purposes only. I can go through and I can configure all these collections, but I don't have to make my customers shop through them. And I can control all the products that are in the catalog and in that specific category. You'll see here are the product iterations that I have. And from a merchandisation standpoint, everybody wants to see that top left-hand corner, right? I can go through and with drag and drop, I can move what products are going to have that top, coveted top left-hand corner. I can do it in a drag and drop standpoint. Maybe it's something down here and I don't want to drag and drop it. I can just change the number and I can pop it right up to the top. So from a merchandisation standpoint, you've removed the necessity of code from the conversation and you've made it a business user standpoint. We also have the ability, and we saw this briefly on the front end, but to go through and have very specific customer experiences. And we do that for both customer groups and customer segments. And I like to think of them as 2 different sides of the same coin. So customer groups are a little bit more macro. You can have different site experiences. You can have different promotion availability. From a segmentation standpoint, you can create these little micro experiences. My favorite example is abandoned cart, or I'm sorry, items in cart. So if you offer free shipping at $200 for anyone who has $149 to $199 in their cart at that given moment, so active on the site, I want a banner to pop up that says, keep going, you're close to free shipping. That's something that you can create with segmentation within Magento. You can create those little moments that matter and speak to your customer as if they're an actual individual. And that ties in directly with what we talk about from a marketing standpoint. So Magento uses both catalog price rules and cart price rules when it comes to promotions. Cart price rules are promotion codes and anything where you say price reflected in cart. I'm sure we're all familiar with that. Whereas catalog price rules are anything that would really apply to, I bet you guessed it, catalogs, or any of the kind of product order that you have on the front end. And we do it in this way because there's some different pieces of information that you can granularly change for all of them. But ultimately, we've made promotion a business user job to manage. So again, you've taken code out of the situation. You can schedule and run up a promotion very quickly. I could probably do it in about 3 minutes, but if I go over my time, they'll probably turn off my mic or yank me off stage. So it makes it very easy. It's check the box. It's if-then statements. So you can go through and you can change the experience that your customers are having on your website very easily. And when it comes to site experiences, I think I'm not the first person to say that, but content is king. When it comes to content, how am I going to manage it? What are my options? And you have 2 options with Magento. So obviously, if you're using AEM and you want to run Magento in what we would call a headless fashion, that's great. You can manage all of your site content in AEM and you can just pass it through Magento and deliver it to your customers easily. You also have the ability to manage content within Magento specifically. So I actually had gone through and I built my homepage with this block right here. So let me go through and I'll edit it. And we already discussed my 3 favorite words are drag and drop. So if you wanted to edit this page with a WYSIWYG editor, or you wanted to hard code your pages, you have that option. But I also have the ability to use the Magento page builder. So I can use these drag and drop friendly widgets and I can build out my site experiences. I can add images, I can add different shadow boxes with actionable buttons. I even have the ability to add shoppable product to a number of different pages. So you can go through and you can impact your content on a very easy to use and granular level. And it actually ties in directly when we talk about content staging dashboard. So this actually works from a content standpoint, not just with what you saw on Page Builder, but I can also schedule when products are going live. I can schedule when promotions are starting and ending. So it's kind of like the crock pot of content management. You can set it and forget it. So you can go through and make sure you know what your site's going to look like at any given moment, down to the minute, quite literally. If I go into some of these, you'll notice that the timing of them are actually quite arbitrary, 9:38. So you can go through and you can make these very granular site changes. Now, we've talked so far about things kind of from an emotional level, and we talked about that buying things is a very emotional experience for most people. It's content, it's imagery, but once they click that buy button, the emotion goes away, and the question is immediately, when can I have it? You know, I think that everyone jokes that someone gets like a lawn chair and sits on their front lawn waiting for their UPS package to show up. So Magento Order Management, which is the page I've just switched to, allows you to help serve your customers from a fulfillment side of things. So when we talk about Magento Order Management, it's about making sure that your in-store pickup is available. It's that making sure your ship from store dashboard is ready, and being able to go through and allow the different systems within your organization the ability to have access to your globalized inventory. And we'll talk about that in a second. If you were sitting through the keynote this morning, we talked about omni-channel experiences, and John mentioned the number of millennials that are using that nowadays, and it really is true. It's something I do, not on a daily, but like maybe monthly standpoint. But being able to go through and allow your customers to have access to this is going to be huge. And it doesn't necessarily take a whole lot of effort, but it takes the right technology. So I just went through and I clicked on my in-store pickup dashboard right here, and I can see my different pickup locations. Not all of your stores have to be designated pickup locations. You can pick and choose. And I'm able to go through and I can see what's going on with all of them. So if I click into my Manhattan Mall, I'm able to see that I have a whole kind of number of shipped orders, but I have this one that I'm still working on, so we can go through and we can view it. Now I can see that Chandra McIntyre is waiting for this order. She paid online already, and she's really going to pick this up, you know, well, last week, but hopefully later today. So as I go through this as a in-store associate, I'm able to see this pick list. I've already picked that off the shelf. Now I can go through and I can either confirm or deny picking from all of these different items. Now that I've gone through and I've picked everything off the shelf, it's already been allocated from my inventory, so that inventory count is already reserved for a customer. And I can go through and I can print this whole document and put it up at the register for her. It's a similar function for ship from store, only I'm waiting for UPS, FedEx, or whomever to pick it up so that they can take it out. It's about making sure that inventory has been accounted for so that people aren't shopping on your website thinking something's in stock and then getting really disappointed when it's not. We also have the ability to go through, as I mentioned, and talk about things from an allocation standpoint in terms of global inventory. Magento actually has the ability to integrate with any existing point of sale or POS system. So if you want your customers to be able to walk up to a store associate and say, hey, I love this shirt, but it's not in my size. I need to go one size up. For them to be able to pull out an iPad or a mobile device and find out, well, I can't get that for you here because we don't have it, but I can get you access to it from our store 3 towns over. You don't want to drive over from there? Great, no problem. I'll have them put it in a box and ship it to you. It's that type of save the sale mentality that is really going to make sure that your customers have access to the products where they need access to them. And ultimately, it's also going to help you make the most out of all of your product count, because you need to make sure that maybe you're selling a lot of this one specific item in one store and not in the other. Don't let your customers miss out on that purchase just because your in-store associates don't know where your products are. We even have the ability to have some customer service features within the product itself. So the ability to go in and help change what's going on in an order. Maybe they need to kind of locate where it is in the shipping process. Maybe they need help canceling it. You have the ability to go through and check up on all of that information. Now, we've talked about, you know, Magento as an island versus Magento as a cog in a larger organization. This information can be interacted here within the Magento Order Management system. It can also be pulled into, you know, maybe a Zendesk or something like that. So you have the ability to make sure that this information is available wherever you need it. So I've talked very briefly on a lot of different platforms today. I was telling someone earlier, if you typically wanted me to go through this many platforms, I'd need about 6 hours and you'd be really sick of hearing me talk. So we've heard about things from a very high level standpoint in what's native in Magento today. So I know John's going to come back up and talk about things that we have going on in our future right now. But as this kind of day progresses, please feel free to come find us, whether it's down at the community pavilion or reach out to anyone that you're working with through Adobe right now, and we're happy to get you a kind of longer and more personalized demo for you. Thanks so much, everybody.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. That was outstanding. Jennifer's a tough act to follow, so I'll try to not disappoint. So we'll real quickly wrap up, and then I want to leave as much time as we can for questions at the end. Just want to talk a little bit about the future now that we're part of the Adobe family. As you heard this morning, our mission is to make every moment personal and every experience shoppable. And as part of the larger family, the larger product suite, we are introducing the Adobe Commerce Cloud, which is Magento deployed with AEM, Target Premium, and Analytics Foundation to provide an end-to-end personalizable customer experience across all elements of the shopping journey, including purchase and checkout. We've been doing a ton of investment in integration layer work to make sure that these products work well together. We've been doing a ton of work on APIs and underlying technologies. And we've also been working with Adobe Managed Services, which is the hosting solution that is used for Adobe Experience Manager to provide a single hosting service, white glove service, for both Magento and Adobe Experience Manager. So if you are looking to be on the Magento platform and AEM, we have a great solution for that. We've also been partnering with the Adobe Analytics team, which there's a new an experience platform connector for Magento that makes it easy to tag your Magento site with all the tagging information you need to accurately collect consumer behavioral shopping information and feed it into Adobe Analytics. And the analytics team is building new dashboards that will become available very soon to provide commerce intelligence directly from within Adobe Analytics. We've also been doing a ton around headless commerce support. So Magento today supports headless commerce, but as we are increasingly deployed with Adobe Experience Manager, in most cases people will use Adobe Experience Manager to manage the front-end experience, and they will use Magento as a headless commerce backend. And we've been investing tremendously in GraphQL and other technologies to provide super high performance headless commerce applications. So we fully support headless today, and we're improving that support by adding GraphQL technologies to make it even more performant. So in the end, this joint solution is going to provide an amazing opportunity for you and other merchants to make every moment personal and every experience shoppable. Our joint solution is going to make it easy to create commerce solutions that are intelligent and predictive, that are personalized across all channels, that are optimized for your commerce processes, and are dynamic and scalable to the largest global enterprises and brands. I can tell you personally, I am delighted to be part of the Adobe family and very excited about the future ahead of us, and I hope you are all excited about coming along that journey with us. So, great. Thank you all very much.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good one.